अगर आप मुझसे पूछें, I don't want to make you more, don't want you to take you the more interesting side of the science. Just stick with the boring stuff. If I ask you, the cell of the rods and the cones in our eye, they're differentiated cell. They are designed to produce definite functions to capture the sun, to the light, and then interpret the light and send the signals to the neurons and blah blah. Think about the cells of the skin. Differentiated cells designed to execute definite functions. You know? If I ask you that whether the skin cell is carrying the genes which are related to the vision, what will be your answer? Yes or no? Yes. If I ask you whether the eye cell, rods and cones, the eye cells, whether they are carrying the genes which are related to the skin, the answer is yes. So that means every cell contains all the source code, all the library, all the material required to execute a complete life. But the rods and cones are acting like a rods and cones since they are not using the genes which are not related to the vision. And that is why they will start becoming different. The skin cells, they just using the genes which are related to the skin, but not the eye. It is that much simple. जब पहली बार इसको किसने सोचा था ना, क्या ज़हन में आया होगा इस बात से कि a skin cell is carrying a full life. I mean, it does carry the genes which can become an eye cell. It does carry the genes which can make them like a kidney cell. It does carry the gene which can make them like a stem cell. It can become like everything, but somehow it is not using all those genes. If you understand the mechanism of differentiation, one of the best area of research, I can tell you, gene regulations. Life is not about having DNA. Life is about how you can control the DNA, how you can regulate the DNA. Otherwise, आप एक sequence of DNA लगा के किसी बोतल में बंद कर दें, DNA बना के खुद बना सकते हैं आप. You know, you can create DNA nowadays by yourself with machine. Human genome बना के डाल दें किसी machine के अंदर, वो इंसान नहीं बनेगा. किसी बैक्टीरिया में डाल दें, वो बैक्टीरिया इंसान नहीं बनेगा. It's about how you can regulate the genes. So somebody thought at that time, if the skin cell is carrying all the source code of life and it is just not using it, just using only the part which belongs to the skin, how about requesting the skin cell to please use the other portions, the other genes, to start using all the genes, start making available all the genes, then what will happen? The skin cell will become a different cell. It's no longer a skin cell. If we able to control this thing more in a better way, and you push the skin cell and request the skin cell to start using the patterns of expression in a way a stem cell is using, the skin cell will become a stem cell. And we made it. It is called induced pluripotency or induced pluripotent stem cells. A stem cells who were not supposed to be the stem cells, but we pushed them to become like a stem cell. Yamanaka ने ये काम किया, Nobel Prize win, कितनी बड़ी बात. And the name of the article at that time, it was published like with a very wonderful heading at that time, Going Back in Time. बड़े साइंसदान भी कभी कोई बड़े आर्टिस्ट होते हैं, कुछ साइंसदान लिखारी होते हैं. I mean, I was very much impressed with that title, Going Back in Time, converting the skin cell into a stem cell, going back in time. पता कैसे? लोगों को ये भी गलतफहमी होती है कि साइंसदानों को क्रश नहीं होते. उनके होते हैं. They are normal people यार. आप मैरी क्यूरी को देखें कभी, रोज़लिंड फ्रैंकलिन को देखें कभी, अपनी आंखों से नहीं, किसी साइंसदान की आंख से देखें. Beautiful people. So the Yamanaka used that phrase because if you imagine the process of development. It's like fully capable stem cell becoming everything. यही होता है ना, baby become everything. All sorts of cells coming from one cell. And then it started dividing and differentiating. In the meanwhile, it loses its stemness, it receives the differentiation, started developing new cells, started developing new organs, tissues and new organs. So the skin cell is a future version of a stem cell, है ना? पहले stem cell आया और उसके बाद वो करते करते क्या बना? If you push the skin cell to become a stem cell, it will be like going back into time. Time machine है, biological time machine. Amazing. जी.